Hello Guardians, it is Ebontis here, and we're going to talk about the Solstice of Heroes armor, specifically the first set you get. Now, the first thing you're going to do is walk up to Ebontis. She's going to give you the helm. You're going to go into the European aerial zone, complete one run in there, and then come back out, talk to the statue, and get your full green set of armor. Now, everyone's going to have to do similar activities, so I'm going to go over a couple tips for those activities, and the subclasses, classes, Hunter, Warlock, and Titan will have slight variations in the subclasses you need equipped in certain places. So let's take a look. Just a quick reminder, the example that I'm going to use is my Titan armor. The Warlock and the Hunter are very similar. Different things could be in different places, so let's take a look. So what I'm showing on screen is the Titan requirements for the drained armor. The Warlock and the Hunter will be very similar, just some slots may be moved around, and as I said, some subclasses will be changed, and I will mention those once I cover the basics on what everybody has to do. So, when you get your helm, you go into the European aerial zone, so everybody should have that one done first. You're going to need, as every class doesn't matter, 50 precision final blows. Just be accurate 50 times and all this stuff, it's likely to happen without trying. You're going to need 50 enemies defeated of a certain type, whether it's Hive, Cabal, or Fallen, and likely in everything you do, they're going to come up. If for some reason they don't, in all of the things we say, then, go to a planet that has them and shoot them. But other than that, you should be fine. Everyone's going to need to loot 10 chests in the European aerial zone. Now, those are the chests at the end of the run, after you beat the mini-bosses and the boss. That's the kind of treasure hunt. Everybody needs to open 10, so you can't just sit there and let everybody else get them. You need to make sure and get some yourself. That is kind of important. And it's kind of a good way to get a feel for the map and where things are at. Everyone needs to do 5 Solstice bounties. This is a big deal, because if you pick up the bounties, you don't have the armor with you, you don't have it equipped, you turn them in without being in the right place, right time, you can kind of miss out on the work you just put in. So make sure before you complete the bounties and click on them to actually finish them, that you have the piece of armor that requires this on you and equipped. Don't risk it. I know some people were trying this one and kind of got stuck at a certain point, so just don't get stuck by this one. Everyone needs 75 kills in the European aerial zone as a specific subclass. I will cover those in a little bit. Everyone will need to make sure that they do 3 adventures. Doesn't matter where. Pick one, any planet, doesn't matter. Everyone will need to make 100 orbs and strikes. Little variation between classes. Everyone will need to defeat 10 guardians. Can be in Crucible, can be Gambit. That's really up to you. Total preference thing. 10 public events on Nessus. Everybody's got to do them, and as everybody does, there's a whole lot of people running around on Nessus right now, so they go pretty quick. One thing to know about public events, sometimes the non-heroic version can be faster, sometimes the heroic version is faster. The Fallen Glimmer extraction, that one is slower when you make it a heroic, because you have to wait the whole phase afterwards. But if you're doing the Cabal one, where you actually have to shoot the vents, or you're doing the Vex one, where you have to stand on little platforms, those are actually quicker if you do those as heroic. So keep in mind what public event you're doing. I think those are the 3 on Nessus. If there's another one, I'm forgetting it. But yeah, not all public events are made the same, so just try and be as efficient there for everybody running around with you as possible. Everybody needs to make orbs in Crucible or Gambit. And make and pick up, by the way. I may say make, I may say pick up. It's interchangeable. You have to get them off of the ground. And the thing about the orbs, the one thing to note is they don't last that long. They're not just sitting out there like orbs that you can pick up for, somebody making a super and they're going to be sitting there for a while. You need to be kind of up in the enemy's face, picking these things up. So keep that in mind on your weapon types. You don't want to be sniping and sitting back and not being able to do anything. Everyone needs to open 10 subclass packages. Now, these are what come from the European aerial zone, from the chests. Sometimes you'll get fragments, sometimes you'll get packages by opening those chests in the treasure hunt at the end. Just make sure you eventually have 10. Each package takes 15 fragments to open. So you're going to need 150 fragments to complete this spot. Now, with all the activities you're going to do, the fragments are not going to be a problem, so don't worry about that. Finally, everybody's going to need to do 10 strikes in the playlist, so your Vanguard strike playlist. Everyone is going to need to create 500 orbs in create and pick up, but everyone's going to need 500 orbs gathered. Just make sure you're running around picking up all the orbs. Between all the things you do, that's not going to be hard. And then finally, everybody needs to do either 10 Crucible or Gambit matches. That's a requirement. Now, it's your preference. Gambit Prime, if you go in there, it is only 1 round as opposed to regular Gambit, and it counts, apparently. And one thing to note, even if you get smoked, hey, guess what? That round's over faster. It's completions, it's not wins. So you just have to participate in the activities. Don't be an AFKer. Don't be that person. but you can lose and it's not a big deal. If you go against like a match made 4 stack and they just smoke you in 5 minutes, guess what? That match just went a little faster. You can go into Crucible. Sometimes you could have a quick play match where you just get blown out of the water, or you could have a sweaty match going to the end. That's, again, really up to you and your preference of what you're going for, but in general, just go have your 10 matches completed and you'll be good. Now, the variations between subclasses are pretty minor, but just make sure you're looking at your armor on your class, just to make sure you are hitting the right button. So everyone needs to get kills in the European aerial zone. But one thing to make note is different characters need to have a different subclass equipped when you're doing so. And this isn't even orb creation related, where you can kind of get a little variance. You have to get kills as the subclass. So for the Hunter, you need to get kills as a solar subclass in the European aerial zone. For the Titan, you need arc kills. And for the Warlock, you need void, not arc kills, I'm sorry. You need kills as an arc subclass. And the Warlock, you need kills as a void subclass. That is all for the European aerial zone. You're going to need to make orbs in a couple places as well. So you need to make orbs and strikes. Now you'll probably make the 100 orbs in about the first 2 strikes. It's really not that hard. But make sure you have the right subclass equipped so you are efficiently making as many as possible so you're picking them up as well. So for the Hunter, you're going to need to make sure you're equipping an arc subclass because you need arc orbs in strikes. For the Titan, you need solar orbs created in strikes. And for the Warlock, you also need solar orbs created in strikes. Finally, when it comes to Gambit or Crucible, again, your preference, both of these count. If you're going for orb creation, my advice, do a match of like Gambit, because there's a lot of enemies to shoot. If you're going for the Guardians that you need to kill, go do 1 or 2 matches of Crucible. After those, really it's a preference of how you want to finish out those 10. That's up to you. Even mix them up if you're getting bored. That's totally fine. The Hunter is going to need Solar subclass, and therefore Solar Orbs, in Gambit and Crucible. The Titan will need Void Orbs, and the Warlock is going to need Arc Orbs in Crucible or Gambit. So those are about the only variations when it comes to the green armor. There could be some more details when it comes to the rare to legendary set, and that's the next video I'll do for you guys once I spend some time working on that. But the main thing to note is basically everybody's got to do a lot of the same stuff, so people are going to be running strikes. Try and speed run with them. You don't have to kill every enemy. Just run through. If there's a checkpoint, some enemy you need to kill to go forward, kill that as quick as you can. Keep running. Not every enemy needs to be killed. If you die, it's not the end of the world, but the more efficient you are, the better. And then the final tips I have about the European aerial zone, just don't stick together. When you're working on those mini bosses, they're spread out. Just spread out a little bit. Be self-efficient. Things like solar shotguns like Ikelos are really good. Tether with Orpheus Rig so you can keep getting that super back. Things like that, just so you are a good teammate and you're kind of efficient with your party, is going to serve them pretty well. And it's just a nice thing to make sure you're working on that type of stuff with your teammates. So as you're going through, just know this is not like a rush. We have a month on these things. The masterwork requirements, remember, once you earn the legendary stuff, you can get the masterwork anytime over the next few weeks, even after the event is over, before Shadowkeep launches. So you don't have to rush through all of this. If you're one of those who wants to just no-life this thing, that's totally up to you, though. But outside of that, just have some fun. It's going to put you in a whole bunch of activities. I mean, if you're doing the playlist strikes and you get Exodus Crash and you hate that strike, well, back out and go relaunch into the strike playlist and you'll probably get something different. If you hate Gambit, play Crucible. If you hate Crucible, play Gambit. If you hate both of those, you got to do one of them, so I'm sorry. But the European aerial zone is pretty cool, so hopefully you guys do enjoy it. And I hopefully you found this video helpful. So if you did, a like below is appreciated. If you have any questions, thoughts, other tips for people that I haven't mentioned, please list those in the comments below. I'm curious what you guys are working on. Please list in the comments below. I'm curious if you're working on grind for 1 character, grind for all 3 characters, or grind for no characters before Shadowkeep. So kind of curious what you guys are working for when it comes to just this Solstice grind. And you guys know where to find me. If you haven't yet, you can find me on Twitch and Twitter. You can follow me there. It's Ebontis on both. Right here on YouTube, if you have not hit that subscribe button yet, please do so. It definitely is a nice free way to support the channel. And if you're already a subscriber and watching this as well, hit that alert bell next to subscribe. That'll actually keep my videos in your feed and kind of keep my videos coming to you because, YouTube algorithm is a crazy thing. So thank you all very much for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. I'm going to have a couple of the videos about Solstice armor upgrading and European aerial zone, things like that. So thank you very much, and I will see you in the next one. Enjoy your grind.